Hey, good morning, guys. Johnny with Blazer Grass Lawn Care. Let's put our headphones in. Turn our warning signal on. And we are getting a lot of pollen. So we got to put our face mask on. It's crazy here in my area. Grab my gloves and my music. So today I'm going to mow this small property, and this is one of my smallest accounts. And get out here. And we're going to talk about when and how to apply your weed and feed to your centipede lawn. And we are also going to talk about how high should you mow the lawn for your customer, especially when your customer is applying the weed and feed, because you have to have a little bit of a weed leaf for the product to adhere to. So this is the first service for this one particular property. All right. So this is a yard that we're gonna mow. Got a gopher mount, but we'll deal with that. Yeah, there's a lot of ground mold mounts in this property, but again, we will deal with that pretty soon. And I use a combination of bait worm and material to kind of just send them away, because the reality is that there's so many that you can't even you can't sit there and try to kill them all, so you have to kind of get rid of them that way. So these are bags of debris, vegetation debris, that the city will collect on a specific day on each subdivision, and the customer took it upon herself to kind of clean up the backyard, put these out. So we also use them, and it minimizes the having to charge a customer for debris pickup. And everyone around my area is used to utilizing them, so it is a thing in my area. So even though I have my warning lights, I still put my cones out. It's a precaution, guys. You know how that goes. So for today's job, I'm using the Toro 36-inch grandstand, and this machine is awesome. It has a platform that you can just bring up and walk behind if you need to, or you can let it down and just ride on it. The little switch that you are looking at is the green guard chute blocker, and I have a link in my video description for the automatic chute blocker. So my first test height of cut will be 2.75 inches, because again, if the customer is going to put down the weed and feed, you have to have that leaf, that vegetation portion for the product to adhere to. Now, one thing that I will remind you is that when you're utilizing weed and feed, you have to apply it on the wet blade of the weed. Okay, you definitely shouldn't be applying weed and feed to a dry lawn. So my advice would be to water your property and then apply your weed and feed, or do it super early in the morning when the dew is still on your entire property. You just go out there and put out your weed and feed, because the way it works is that the product has to adhere to the weed leaf for at least 24 hours for the product to work. I know I've seen a lot of people go out there and put out some weed and feed, and they automatically turn on their sprinkler system, and then you're wondering, why did the product work? Again, this is where I'm bringing the height of cut lower, because matter of fact, I'm bringing it down to 2.50, 2.5 inches, because on average I mow this property at 2 inches. And keep in mind, guys, this is southern turf. It is recommended that we mow at 2 inches, okay, and below. That's the type of turf that we have, okay? So if you're up north, you will be mowing a lot higher, and it's just different type of turf. All right. So once again, guys, do not put out your weed and feed in a hot middle of the day, and then have your customer water it in. That's something that I used to do when I first started, because I didn't know. You have to read the label. Read the label, okay? And another thing is that when it comes to your southern turf, wait until your turfs start to green up before you start applying weed and feed, because again, you don't want to stunt the growth of your turf. You know, you want it to actually kill the weeds that are developing in your lawn. I know you may be asking yourself, why is this guy cutting in circles? But if you pay attention to what I'm doing, I have the discharge side to your right, and I'm always discharging to the right, which brings your debris into the middle, and at the end I'll keep mulching the debris, and spreading it all over the lawn. And then I'll come back and go up and down or side to side, whichever pattern you're trying to achieve in this particular lawn. But right now, like I said before, this is the first service visit, and the goal here is to take it down and make it look neat. Tomorrow morning, the customer will apply her weed and feed. That's something that she wants to do, and let that product sit on top of the weeds, and it will do its thing. Now, of course, with a lawn like this, most likely you'll have to have a second application, and we will see where we go with that one. same thing on this side of the property. I will mow in a square or a circle, whichever one you want to call it, keeping the chute directly to the center. And with this way of mowing at the beginning is I am sending the debris to the middle, and if you think about it, I'm remulching the debris. And you may say, well, it's easier for me to just pick up the debris and bag it. Yeah, but that's not what you're getting paid for, right? Well, if it was me, I would do it. That's fine. Do it. Because at the end of the day, you have to do what the customer pays you to do. It's not what you feel like doing, right? Provide a service to the customer. So let's do what the customer wants you to do. Okay, so now we're finished with the mowing process. And we're gonna close a little ramp. Bring our power down. And put the mower back up. And guys, remember, if you need links to anything in this video, please look in the video description. And if I don't have a link, guys, it's because I don't have a link. Alright, let me close up my ramp. And this ramp, guys, is extremely efficient, and it saves me a ton when it comes to gas. So look into it. Alright, so let me grab a BLI 300 battery, and with this battery, guys, I can trim 4 or 5 properties, sometimes 6, depending on the size of the property. And this is my Husqvarna 325 ILK. It's sort of like a combi unit, a battery combi unit, and this one has the Darwin grip, which is a white grip that I have holding on to, and it has a Echo 400 speed feed head attached to it. And yes, I do not use a trimmer guard, and that's personal preference. But again, if you're starting out in the business, guys, do not do this because it takes some practice in order to learn how to feather your trigger and get your task accomplished without slinging rocks. And that's the main thing. You need to know what you're doing before you try to emulate a lot of people on these videos. Ensure that you are proficient enough and you understand how your equipment works before trying to emulate your favorite YouTuber. And I have to say, guys, because I did it, and yes, it didn't turn out good. And I have a lot of examples on videos, so make sure you like and subscribe, and go check out my older video, guys. I have tons and tons of great tips and tricks for you to start your lawn care business, or for you to get the best cut possible with the equipment. And a lot of first views of equipment. The string that I'm using is a Vortex twisted line at 0.95, 0.95, yeah. And very strong string trimmer line. And again, I have a link in my Amazon store, so check that out. And what we're doing here is just cleaning up where the mower can't reach. And one thing that I would say, guys, is that I've seen a lot of guys that you squeeze the trigger all the way down, and that's the way you work all the time. And that's the main reason why your battery products don't work. Or you're not, you're slinging stuff all over the place. You have to learn, take your time and learn how to feather your trigger and use the amount of power that's necessary for the task at hand. A lot of tasks that we're doing, we don't have to have all the power. If you use a little bit of power, it gets the task done, and you won't be tearing up things. So just keep that into consideration, and yeah, kind of practice that. So here I'm just cleaning out some stuff in the plant bed because I want to, and it's kind of, yes, I know I'm not moving the hose, but that's because I don't have to. There isn't a lot of debris, tall debris, so just a little bit of this, a little bit of that I'm kind of just hitting and making it look neat. Because like I said before, this is just the initial, let's get this looking good. Now when it comes to the cracks of the driveways and sidewalks, guys, do you guys charge additional for that? I don't. It is part of my quote. It is sort of like an implied task when it comes to what I do. So do you see this here? This is the city sewer system. Can you believe it's in our yard? That's the kind of things that they do in this area. But hey, what can you do, right? All right. But like I said before, guys, this is just initial cleanup. This is not, I mean, initial mowing. This is not a cleanup. So we are done. And I could easily use the string trimmer to edge the sidewalk and the driveway, but I'm not. I'm going to use a dedicated curve shaft edger because as the initial edging of this season, I want to ensure that I'm going deep enough and I can get all the debris out of there and cut some of the overgrown, which, it doesn't have a lot of overgrown, but cut some of the overgrown uh, vegetation on the edge. And it does a faster, cleaner job if you can tell. And again, guys, this is the same Husqvarna 325 IOK with the same BLI 300 battery, but the difference is this one have the curved shaft edger attachment at the end, but it is the same combi unit. So if you were starting out and this is a piece of equipment that you're using, you don't need to have two separate main unit. You can just have one and just switch out the pieces. Right here I'll come back with a shovel because it's way too much, but I'll come back with a shovel and clean that up. So we're going to just continue on here and do what we have to do. Alright, so one thing you have to realize is always ensure that your equipment is locked up. Even though you're in the front where you can view your equipment, always ensure that it is secured because someone can easily drive up to your equipment, have a passenger in the back, grab your stuff, and drive away, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay, so always ensure, especially when you're on the main road or street and you're working by yourself, or even if you're working with an assistant. Okay, security is a must. So I'm using the Stihl BLI 800 backpack blower, and this is my preferred backpack blower for the winter and the spring, because the spring is when you're hitting up those first time properties and they have leaves and they have a ton of dirt and stuff like this one that you just have to get done and not sit there, let's say, with a less powerful blower and kind of waste your time, right? Just sitting there blowing. Nah, you're using the most powerful thing that you have and you get the job done. Now after the initial cleanup or the initial mowing, I would then switch to a lower blower, which is probably most likely going to take the BR600 with me. And again, it's lighter, it saves on fuel, and it gets the job done. And again, you won't have the amount of debris as within the first time. And I have to repeat myself, guys, because I know some of you guys can probably ask, this is just a mowing, this is not a leaf cleanup, so I'm not too concerned about picking up the leaves. And always ensure, and you will see here in a few minutes, do not blow the debris on the house, okay? Because I've blown debris before when I first started and blew rocks, especially at someone's door, and broke the window. As you can tell, I'm blowing things away from the house. So now we're finished, and the customer can get up early in the morning, put out her weed and feed, and start her 2023 journey on having a beautiful lawn. All right, guys, have a blessed one. See you on the next one. Pop Smoke. Peace.